this could take, for students who are applying for the undergraduate scholarship, we basically keep you informed during the process, and in general we try to notify you by early May. Sometimes there may be a delay because the lists of recommended students have to be signed in Bonn, and students who are applying for the graduate scholarship, I believe we're trying to notify them in April, I think April, late March or early April. It should be on our website. If it's not, you could call our office and try to find out.
The next question you briefly touched on before, but if someone has a degree in one field and wants to do a master's degree in a different field, does that have any sort of impact on the selection for the graduate study scholarship?
Degree in one field, master's degree in a different field. Well, I suggest that you write a good proposal. I'm sure there may be some reasons and there may be some interconnections between those two degrees regardless. So I don't think there's any particular preference. If the recommendation letters are great and so on, and your proposal is good.
Great. If somebody's returning to a different university after going abroad, what do they need to show? Do they need to explain that? Do they need to show anything if they're returning to a different university after their study in Germany?
I'm not exactly sure I understand the question.
Yeah, maybe the questioner can just email us directly. If you're referring to the study scholarship, then you would email Youngshin Kim, and that's kim@dad.org.
The one thing, Leslie, we require DAD just ask our scholarship holders to fill out a questionnaire about the scholarship, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. And we've had a few questions about whether this presentation that Brid gave is going to be available online. And yes, it is. We will post it online. If you go to our homepage, I'll show my screen and show everyone briefly. If you go to the homepage and then you click on publications and links, and then you click on, I believe you can click on either of these, but for example, publications for administrators and faculty. And if you see right here it says DAD PowerPoint presentations, we will post it there. So just a few clicks and you'll be able to get to a copy of Brid's fantastic and very helpful presentation. And let me get back to the questions. We just have a few more minutes, so I will ask now, what is considered to be enrolled full-time in a university? Is there a certain number of credits they need? Do they need to prove that they're enrolled full-time, or does part-time study count?
They should be enrolled full-time, and usually when we get the applications, I don't look at the transcripts too closely myself, but our selection committee is certain to notice anything that's below full-time study.
Okay.
So if somebody has a particular reason why in a particular year they are taking less credits, they can't afford it, they need to work and whatnot, they may need to have some explaining to do, but if they are still enrolled and studying towards a degree, there's a possibility to make it work, but that should be explained and addressed possibly by their recommenders as well.
Okay, and to piggyback on a question about recommenders, if somebody just transferred to a to a new university, do they need, and they don't really know people at that university, is it okay to get letters of recommendation from your previous university?
Yes, definitely. Now it also depends on what level of study you're at and how many recommendations you need to hand in for us. I would say, maybe try to get one letter of recommendation from your current institution. You probably have an academic advisor or a professor you talk to in your major field of study, and if you don't, maybe you take this application now as a reason to approach somebody and let them know about your academic history and your goals and plans, and possibly they're willing to write a recommendation for you.
Great, and I'm going to just jump in here too. There was another question about if there's does it carry more weight to have a recommendation from a German professor as opposed to a science professor? And this person specifically is pursuing biology research, and the answer to that is whoever can speak best to your skills. So if your biology professor could speak really well to how your experience in Germany would help you, then by all means, there's no reason that a German professor would be able to say more. Do you have anything to add to that, Britt?
Well, we usually ask for several recommendation letters, so you have a chance of, adding one by your German professor as well. But if you're studying biology, you should definitely have a letter from a professor in biology.
And can you speak briefly also to someone that's pursuing independent research as a part of the study proposal, so an independent study proposal? What should they include in that? How detailed should the timeline be, etc.?
I think from anyone applying for the graduate scholarship, especially if it's research-oriented or an independent project and not a master's or a PhD program, we expect a fairly detailed research or study proposal. So please do go ahead and include a timeline. However, I think we understand that that timeline, of course, does change, and if you receive the scholarship and your goals change somewhat and you don't abide by that timeline, that's fine, unless you decide to travel and not study, or go to a different university. You may have to get permission from our head office and so on. But yes, it's preferable to go into detail, and then if the details change, it's okay.
Great. And it is now noon my time, which means 3 p.m. on the East Coast, so we are going to close here. Before we do, I just wanted to show everyone quickly information for upcoming webinars. It's on the dad.org website. You can just scroll down here and see the informational webinars that are coming up. We've had this one today. Next week, on Thursday, there's one for specific graduate students, postdocs, and faculty opportunities. We can get down to the nitty-gritty more than we could today for graduate student, postdoc, and faculty opportunities. So study and internship over the summer in Germany is Tuesday, November 3rd, and that's where we'll discuss summer school opportunities as well as our internship programs like RISE and the summer journalism program. Internship opportunities, which is November 16th. So again, we'll be talking about RISE, our journalism project, the Congress Bundestag scholarship, as well as our colleague from CDS International will be talking about the opportunities they have in Germany. And then finally, Tuesday, December 1st, we're having a session on general funding opportunities covering all the scholarships that we offer. And then we actually have another webinar that is not yet up yet. We just finalized it. That will be on Tuesday, November 10th, and that'll be for undergraduates interested in going to Germany. So we can go get into more details. We've just kind of covered the surface of that today, and I will be posting that on the website later today. So feel free to check that out later and sign up for a future webinar if all of your questions weren't addressed today. And you can also email the program officer responsible for your the scholarship you're interested in applying for, and to find that you